Hey, Sam.
Wait, I'm not recording. Hold on, wait.
Oh my God.
I am recording now. Hey, MK.
Hey, Sam.
No.
Shut up. Remember when we used to record these, and get them uploaded within, 3 weeks?
Well, you see, hello everybody, and welcome to the TFI podcast, episode 15, recording on the 30th of July.
Technically, for me, it's the 29th.
So, by technicality, we're still on our schedule.
Right on schedule.
So, we got quite a few things to talk about today.
I was going to say, one thing I think is really funny is we originally intended to record a couple days ago. We both weren't feeling it. And we're like, okay, we'll record later. And then the next day, the TF1 trailer came out. And we both were like, we're so glad we didn't record.
Yeah, no, it was literally the day it came out. And I saw it and I went, that's something to talk about.
Yeah, no, my exact reaction was like, if we had recorded this, we would have been 12 hours before this trailer would have come out.
I mean, seeing as you bring it up, what'd you think?
I liked trailer 2 a lot more than trailer 1, and I enjoyed trailer 1 a lot. I just thought trailer 2 gave us more of what, one, the tone of the film, but also, how much of the story we're going to see. And I already got, some people were saying they showed too much, and I already kind of got the hint that it felt like they didn't actually show too much. And from what I've heard, even the director was like, y'all haven't seen anything.
But also, I feel like we know the beats, right? We know what to expect.
D16 becomes Megatron?
What?
Megatron's a bad guy?
What? I thought Megatron turned into Ultra Magnus.
Oh, that's Dion.
I knew that was coming. There's no canon evidence to suggest that he becomes Magnus.
There's no... I think there's one comic where he does, or there's some reference to it, but yeah, no.
I also find it neat that Fractured Friendship set is coming out.
It's something, well, yeah, it is, and it's frustrating because I was just talking to someone how I didn't realize it was up for sale until after it was too late, because I was going to get one, and then I was like, oh, when this goes on sale, and then I found out it was on sale because someone complained about it being sold out, and I went, what? No, so... Something I find interesting real quick about the Dion thing is how everyone's like, well, he has to become Ultra Magnus or something. Who does he become? But it's so funny. I like the idea that he's just dead because Ariel wasn't even supposed to be Alita. That was a last minute change.
It was I was about to say, yeah, that was a very last minute change.
Credit to It's Not Curious or specifically her alternate account, History of Female Transformers, for that information.
Oh, I will say I absolutely loved the new trailer, and at first I thought they showed a bit much, but I think they showed everything we knew was already going to happen, and it's interesting because there's this I really do feel the sort of youngness, is that even a word? In D16 and Orion Pax. They really feel like teenagers to me. And even in the trailer where they show him as Megatron with his cannon, he's all beefed up, he still feels super young to me. And I like that. It's really, really nice. I think the animation is gorgeous. But the one thing I've commented on the most, and I saw this the most in this trailer, I believe the facial reactions in these characters look fantastic. I think the modeling of their faces, I think it's definitely what Transformers Prime could have done on a higher budget. Because they have the same...
Well, except it has noses.
But with noses, yes. But there's that shot where, near the beginning, where Megatron's kind of looking over his shoulder, and he looks disgusted. And it looks so good. And it's just everything about it. This movie feels like it shouldn't exist. It feels so far too good for us.
I mean, it's been in production for such a long time. I kind of hope it turned out.
Has it?
The thing that... Yeah, it's been in production since at least The Last Night. It's been, this film has been talked about since before The Last Night. A Cybertron animated prequel film? Yes.
Oh yeah, you're right. It's neat because like I look at both the trailers and the one clip we got, and I'm just really enjoying the brighter tone to it and the humor, and I wonder how the more serious scenes are gonna feel and play out when we actually get to them.
I'm kind of this movie has me kind of speechless because I feel like I cannot predict. Like I can predict how the plot's gonna go. I can predict, but like I feel like anytime I suspect something with this film, I get proven wrong, or what. So I'm just here for the ride. I'm hoping for a good time.
I like it because the movie seems self aware. It knows what it is, and it has a style that's unique and its own. And I know I've said this a bunch of times before, but I do feel like TF1 is exactly what this franchise needs.
I agree. I also think it would be cool to have a definitive origin story film for people, like to get people into Transformers.
I've been loving everything I'm hearing about the cast so far. I think I've said this to a few friends, but I believe Megatron, his actor is gonna like steal the show for sure.
See, I've been saying this since he was cast because Brian Tyree Henry is a personal favorite actor of mine. He is. There's never been a role I don't think he's absolutely killed, and he is. Anytime I see him in the movie, I am absolutely giddy. Like I throw him in every movie. I'm okay with that. He's in the MCU. He's in DC movies. He's in action movies. He's in Transformers. Throw him in everything.
He's in Godzilla.
He's in Godzilla. Yep. I love him as an actor. So he was actually, when the cast list was announced, he was the one I was always like, no matter how this movie turns out, he's going to be perfect as Megatron. And then everything else just started being good. I think the only one I was the most nervous about, and I'm still, I don't think they're going to do bad. I just don't think, I think it's more like, I think the actress is going to do, good. I just kind of tired of seeing her in things, and that's just Scarlett Johansson. I think I'm just personally not the hugest Scarlett Johansson fan. So that's why I'm like, that's the only casting choice. I'm like, I'm still not fully sold on it because I'm sold on Chris Hemsworth. I was already sold Brian Tyree Henry. I like the direction Keegan-Michael Key is going. Lawrence Fishburne is almost unrecognizable as Alpha Trion.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And then the one line we got of Steve Buscemi Starscream sounds great. I mean, we haven't heard more, but that sounds really good.
Did you see the alternate trailer where you hear Shockwave speak?
Isn't that one where he gets in an argument with B?
Yeah.
I think I've seen it.
He wouldn't stop talking, especially when he was unconscious. What I find really funny is we've had 2 trailers and 1 clip, and we've only ever seen 1 shot of Sentinel Prime being held up by the Quintesson, and that's it. It's just going to be his only scene, his only part. Just
John Hamm's expensive. I don't know what to tell you. Him getting pinned up, or pinned by a Quintesson.
I think some of the more like notable things I noticed is that Alita and Arachnid fight looks really cool.
I'm also curious. They haven't specified if Arachnid's a Decepticon or not, and she looks unique.
She definitely does look unique, especially her alt mode, and her alt mode is what gives her these weird like curved sort of limbs.
I really appreciate her xenomorph inspired like head. I thought that was really cool.
There was a detail that I've noticed so far, especially in this trailer. The sound design feels very like the Cybertron games.
Mm-hmm.
I'm noticing a lot of like similar like whirls and robotic groans that sound like they were taken straight like they were taken straight from Fall of Cybertron, and they sound really, really great. Like the shot where Megatron's holding Starscream's throat and his like gun comes out, just the sounds of it coming out feels so Fall.
There's one shot where Starscream transforms, and it's not a sound effect from the games, but it sounds like it's the same like style they were going for. That weird where it still sounds like metal, but there's that weird like alien, biological alien like sound effect
Yep.
thrown onto it. Like, because in the movies, when it came to the transformation, it just sounds kind of like metal clanking into another. There's a little bit of alien, but it sounds very industrial, and I love the movie sound design. But something I also really like about like the Fall games, War and Fall, and then now this movie, is you get that bit of industrial, but you also get this like weirdly organic sound to it.
Actually, that's what just reminded me. There was one thing in the trailer I didn't want to see, and I'm a little sad they showed it. And it's just, there's snippets of Orion turning into Optimus. And I didn't want to see that yet. I really wanted that moment, because I know for a fact that scene is going to make me weep in the theater. So I didn't want to see anything about it, and I did.
I don't think that will take away from the moment, because we all knew Orion was going to be Optimus. Like, I think what makes the scene is going to be the music, the acting, the tone, like where it happens in the film. I think just seeing him slightly change, I don't think to me that would have any effect on it, because going in, we already know what that is. We already know he's going to become Optimus. So I don't know. To me, it depends on how it's executed in the movie, rather than, with an example recently with Deadpool, the new Deadpool that just came out. There's some scenes in the trailer that I thought were fine, and I saw them in the trailer and I thought they were cool, but I'm like, oh, that would have been cool to see in the movie for the first time. And then when you see them in the movie with like the editing and the music, and I'm like, oh, it hits entirely different. Even if I've seen this scene in the trailer, it feels brand new to me.
What I did like, because when they show the differences, like when they show the scenes of Optimus compared to Orion, I didn't really notice, but like Orion and Optimus do look distinctly different, yet you know that they're the same character. So I feel like the adjustments made between the two characters is done well enough so that it's clearly Orion Pax caked up, but it's also Optimus. I like that. I am ready for this movie, MK. Can I have it now, please?
I cannot do that. My one worry, and I don't think they're going to go that way entirely. I think it's going to be more, I just hope it's not a full corruption, because I feel like that takes away from Megatron's identity. I can definitely tell they're going a little bit that he's being slightly manipulated, but I hope it's more of a acting on his own impulses, like less of I'm turning you evil and more convincing you to do what you really want to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Like, we still don't know his motive.
I'm a sucker for theme song references, and dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun-dun-dun is nice and made me happy and gave me chills.
Makes me wonder if that's going to appear in the movie. I hope so.
I hope so too. I feel like they wouldn't put it in the trailer if they weren't going to put it in the movie. That would be such an evil move.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for the day, and I know there's copyright problems. I'm still waiting for the day where they unironically use the touch in a Transformers film and play it to an action scene.
I don't think that would be that hard to do. I'm pretty sure Stan Bush he would just be given the money. Like, they almost used it in Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah, I saw Stan Bush a couple weeks ago. He was.
Oh yeah, you did.
He was at TFCon.
You want to go tell the audience about how much of a fun time you had while I was sitting alone and sad, remembering the days? So,
well, first of all, there you go, everybody. Those are our thoughts on the trailer. Looks neat. Excited for it, but yeah. Now to get into the sad stuff. The last couple years, MK has come to Canada for TFCon Toronto, along with a few other TFI members and Discord friendos.
Last year, we even recorded an episode live together.
We did, and I listened to that, I think, a couple days before TFCon, and I remember the part where MK goes, "I can't wait to do this next year."
Yep.
Literally.
Next time, baby.
Other than M Chords, who just missed his exit, nobody else was able to make it. There was a lot of like financial things getting in the way, life getting in the way, so it was completely understandable. But it was very different. It was still a lot of fun to go. It's always good to see M Chords. I got to bring my girlfriend Naomi to TFCon for the first time, so she could see, the dwelling of the nerds. And it's unfortunate that you guys couldn't make it because there were a lot of cool like guests and people to talk to and meet. Like Stan Bush was there, Alex Milne as usual. I believe Aaron Archer was there. Gary Chalk was there, who was really fun to talk to.
I was told he remembered you.
He did. And for those listening, you'll understand that context a little later.
Yeah.
A little later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he was so fun to talk to. Took a picture with him, met up with a few like Twitter friends, and I didn't leave with that much. However, I only got like 2 figures, but one was just a fallen figure, and I think his name is Salvage. I think he's a movie one sort of drone.
Yeah, movie one. I had like toy as a kid.
Yeah, and I'm glad I got him because after I saw Twisters, I want red trucks to drive into tornadoes. So the first person that I was able to meet is a guy by the username Skywarp Builds 12, and what he does is he does these really cool like renderings of Transformers characters in Lego. And I do believe they're fully CGI, like 3D model, and they're really cool. And the other person I met was Brody, or Brody Nautica fan, I think the username is.
Is it number 1 or number 2 Nautica fan? I know there's 2 Brody, and there's another one that are like they duel over Nautica fan. I think they're friends.
Yeah, it's number 1.
Yeah. Oh, Brody's number 1?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, so I met those 2. I had them sign my little notebook, and it was really neat. I will say though, the most I actually did meet someone else who I met at Fan Expo. And he's really cool. And he did a piece of artwork for me that I bought from him. Richard Reyes. And funny enough, MK, he was the person that messaged me like I think last year saying, "Oh, I just missed you at TFCon."
Oh, I remembered. You found that out when we were at the pool party, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I think it was when you, me, and Cool Eric were out.
Yes.
Shopping.
Yes.
That was sad. Okay, so I'm glad you got this year.
Yeah. And he drew a really great picture of First Aid, which is now hung up on my wall here. Yeah. But like to say what I was going to say, they moved Artist Alley completely.
Mm-hmm.
So
you tell me that.
Yeah.
Like and they kind of buried it almost.
It kind of did, but I will say it still got traction. There were still a lot of people in there. But rather than like, entering the hotel, turning left, and then there's the alleyways where the guests are, and then the big dealer room, normally there's the guests, you turn right down the alley, and there's Artist Alley. It's literally down an alley. They had apparently too many booths. Too many people bought spaces, so they had to take Artist Alley and move them behind the registration room. But I will say, despite the fact that they were like shoved aside, I felt that room worked because the room was bigger. Like I think it was a mixture of more artists and more people, also dealer room stuff. Yeah, it was a combination. Yeah. But I do feel the room worked out better because they were all laid out in a big like square with some booths in the middle, and there was quite a lot of stuff there. So it was nice. It was nice to see, and I am glad that they got the traction that they deserve because some of that artwork is just like so good, and they definitely deserved as much like traction as they could get. I got Coolerite visiting in August for Gigawatt's release.
Give him a kiss for me.
I will.
Sam, cut that.
No, definitely not. And I need his help for Jaws as well, so that's going to be handy. But yeah, TFCon was good. It's pretty good. Really didn't leave with much this year. There were some things I did want to get, but nothing vital.
Did you not find anything that you really wanted?
Yeah, there was nothing that made me go, oh, I have to have this. Like there was nothing there this year. Like there was a few things I was really looking for. And I was really hoping, I know he's not out yet, but I was really hoping somebody would have Legacy Cannonball. Because I want Cannonball to cameo in Steel Jaws. And I was also looking for any other sort of shark transformer, because I want to get a bunch if I ever do any more like Steel Jaws movies like in the future. And I saw in some stores they have I think it's Transmetal Cyber Shark, which was I
Oh,
know
yeah.
I know that figure eventually became Skybite.
Yeah, it was the original before Skybite was Skybite, because RID 2001 was a weird thing where like they had to reuse a bunch of molds.
Yeah, so I want that shark because that would be fun to use for like a sequel or something. But I didn't see it. I really did not see it.
Real quick sidetrack. Imagine if a toy line like the RID 2001 one came out today, where there was just like all of a sudden it's a toy line where there's like 2 new molds, and then all of a sudden one of the figures is just a repaint of like a Transformers animated toy, and another is a repaint of like a Dark of the Moon toy. Like not a new mold, not like just straight up repaint of that old toy.
Mm-hmm.
That would be wild.
I
would love to see the complaints.
That'd be funky. But yeah, I only left with a Fallen figure. I can't remember the company that did it. But it was one of those third-party ones where everything's in sort of like
tiny?
scout. Yeah, it is quite small.
Iron Factory.
Iron Factory, yes, it was the Iron Factory Fallen.
Yeah. Which one? There's like 2.
It's the one that comes with that ginormous sword.
I don't remember them off the top of my head. I just remember Frank talking about them.
It's the new one. I know it's the new one.
Okay.
That has the big sword, and it is quite neat. I wanted him just because I wanted like a little shelf with like different Fallen bodies and all that. But yeah, and salvage I got because I had twisters on the brain. So, but also, it's a Viacon like from the game, the '07 game, but as an Autobot this time. So it would make excellent for background troops when we do like other Baver stuff. But that's kind of it for TFCon. It was fun, but just made me not the same. Made me miss everyone. So.
I know you. Oh God, I was actually really sad that weekend too, because I knew I wasn't able to go, but I think I didn't process it until you said it was happening. Like you were at TFCon, immediately my heart sunk, because I'm like, fuck, I did not get to go this year. And it's not even just TFCon, it's also like staying at Matt's house, going up to your place, it's that whole week is always has been the highlight of my year every year. And so
I will say the first TFCon kind of felt like lightning in a bottle, because
it was more just, it's not just the TFCon itself, it's just the first time you meet someone, it's always special.
It was, especially the way it was done, because like no one knew you were showing up other than like a couple people. And remember, Matt comes around the corner with these pizzas. Granted, the wrong side of the house. Matt comes around, had to sneak through some bushes.
I had defensive. I had never been to your house.
I know. And then you come around the corner, and I'm like, oh hey, I'm Kate. And everyone's like, what? And you come around the corner when Coolerite finally arrives, and the man's just frozen.
That is one of my favorite things. That was special. No, what I think about a lot is that first TFCon feels like it shouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
It was just like, I think I remember the exact reason I went to. It wasn't premeditated, anything like that. It was, I was talking to Matt the night the tickets went on sale, and he made, I think Matt pitched it. I think Matt was the one who was like, you could stay at my house. And I was like, are you serious? And it was like in a split second, it was just like a casual, like, I think he just casually said I could stay at his house. And with the second he said that, I was like, well, wait, okay, then I'll do it. Let's do it. And then we bought the tickets. It was, I remember it was just like an immediate impromptu, like, okay. And we let you know like a month ahead of time, because just in case there were panel plans, just in case there were things like that. But I was tempted to keep it secret from you, but I think I remember I talked with Matt, and we were just like, in order to make sure we can get plans properly, you at least have to be in the know.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, no, that's how TFCon went. It was fun, but I missed you guys, so that was pretty much that.
Yeah.
I think the very last thing I wanted to touch upon was the full production of Steeljaws and how that's going. Because I talked a little bit about that on the last podcast, but now even more of it is actually being filmed. And I tested out the screaming underwater thing that I mentioned to you, MK.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worked.
So now I definitely have to waterboard myself. You know what I think I'm going to do? I don't even think I'm going to, like, go outside in a pool. I think I'm going to fill up a giant bowl of water, put it right up to my mic, and just dunk my head into it. And just, you know?
You should. Because I filmed... So, basically, filming of the film has happened. And what I'm doing right now is just all the water shots. And I'll mention the complications those came up with in a bit. But I filmed the scene with Sea Spray. He goes down in an anti-shark cage. And I found a different shark cage that suits him a lot better. It's a lot smaller, so it works. And so, you know, I that was just filmed in our above-ground pool because Lake Ontario is very, very dirty.
Gross.
Yeah, and when the camera's underwater, you can't see anything.
What?
Yeah.
What was what you said? Like, there was one day you literally got out, and then like an hour later, the news put out something.
Yeah, there was a massive storm about a day before I was going to shoot like more scenes in the water, and so the next day I go to the lake, and it looked like someone had thrown a forest into the lake. There were so many trees and rocks, just so much floating in the water. And I get in and I film, and then I get out, and I get home and I read, "Do not go into Lake Ontario, high levels of E. coli." And I read that and I went, oh, I'm going to die today. So I was okay, thankfully. I had no open cuts, so I didn't get sick or anything. But yeah, so I filmed the underwater cage sequence. You know, Skybite attacks the cage while Sea Spray's in there. So I said to myself, let's do some underwater screaming. So I put my phone into an underwater sort of like sort of a Ziploc bag designed for like underwater photography with phones. Took the phone underwater, put myself underwater, and screamed. And without context, it sounds so funny. It's just... It's so good, and I love it. So I threw it into the scene, and all of a sudden, it's no longer funny out of context. It's very kind of disturbing. But the way...
I gotta do that soon.
I can't wait to hear it. But the way filming has gone down is... And I almost enjoy the way things went down on day one. Because I simply thought to myself, I can just hold the shark in my left hand and the camera in my right hand and just film the shark breaching the water and doing its thing. And then I got to the beach. And mind you, it was a calm, sunny day. And I realized the waves were too high. They will always be too high, no matter where I film. And they were only like a foot high waves. And I got in the water to the point where the water's up to my neck, and I'm still standing. And I'm trying to get my shots. And the problems hit. And it was when my camera's in the underwater case, to get the correct angle that I need, where you see the water in the bottom of the frame, the shark's fin in the middle, and the horizon in the top of the frame, the camera has to be halfway submerged under the water, which means the screen is submerged underwater, so I cannot see what I'm shooting. Even if I go under the water with my goggles, all I see is my reflection on the screen because it's so vibrant. So I tried to get these shots and the waves and the angles. I got home and it looked like garbage. There was not a second of usable footage of my shark fin. The angle was too high. The shark fin was out of focus, out of frame. And I got very disheartened. And then that made me very happy because I love Jaws, and I love the story of how the film was made and how all their shark footage never worked because the shark didn't work. And I said to myself, I was like, this is great.
Jaws. Yeah.
I'm like, this is great that I can't get it to work because now I really am like the production. So I decided to do big brain time. And I said to myself, well, one of my favorite directors is also Christopher Nolan. And in the movie Interstellar, there's a lot of like a camera attached to an object type of footage. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking about that, and I was like, is there a way to attach the camera to the shark? And so what I did was I put the camera in its underwater case onto a tripod and had the camera point straight down so the legs would stick, past the lens. And I then zip tied the shark to the tripod legs, and now it didn't matter if I could see the shot because the shark was always in frame and always in focus. So I just made this rig where the camera is attached to the shark. I went back to the beach that same day, got in the water, came home, looked at the footage, and it is gorgeous. It works so well. And I just squealed like a child that this shark fin footage of a toy in real lake water came out the way it did. And then I went back a few days later and repositioned the shark in a different angle and just swam and moved the camera around as if the shark was doing the swimming. Then you add a bit of camera shake and it all comes together. And pretty much all the shark footage has now already been shot, because I've already got the fin breaching the surface, going by the camera, going under the water. I have all the shark footage I need. Mm-hmm. Now what I have to film is the boat footage. And it actually only arrived a few days ago. I bought this really big remote-controlled tugboat that scales perfectly with core class figures. So, like Outback and Sea Spray, just on the little boat, they look so good. And this is why I need Cooler Rate's help. I can't carry everything on my bike. I can't carry the shark, the boat, the camera, and the figures on my bike. Cooler Rate's bringing his car. And this is also why I will also probably need Matt's help too, because there's just so much to do, so much to bring for it. And with the boat being remote controlled, that makes things 10 times easier to film. And I'm so excited for this stupid film because I love Jaws so much. And it's working. It just real water, no CGI, nothing. There's no, apart from like Windblade flying, there is no green screen in any of these like water shots. It's all real water with a real RC boat and a toy shark. But it does hurt me that I'm putting a Takara Skybite in E. coli disgusting water. It's fine to go back in now. So, but it's funny, I've actually had to put a hold on Steel Jaws. Because, I explained this to MK earlier, but my portable hard drive is out of space. I have a 1 terabyte portable hard drive that I use for storing all TFI stuff, and about maybe 10 gigs of that are like effects and maybe stuff for future projects, but the rest is taken up by Gigawatt 4. The project being an hour and 46 minutes, it's not really surprising that there's all this footage. But I've noticed like what takes up the most amount of space is when I render an effect in lossless. That increases the file size more than what it was originally. And there's a lot of effects that are lossless because I want like all the details there. But with Jaws, I'm experimenting with something for the first time in this project. And I'm adding the slightest layer of film grain.
E. coli.
E. coli.
Grain, yeah.
E. coli. Yes, I'm adding E. coli. No, I'm adding slight film grain. Because I looked into this, and I know James Cameron had mentioned this at one point, that he sometimes will add film grain to some films because it adds, like, depending on the project, it can add a layer of like cinematicness to it, and film grain can sometimes help blend in effects, and apparently it can help with banding if you over color grade something and you kind of damage the pixels. It kind of helps with that. And because Steel Jaws is meant to replicate a movie from 1975, I added a bit of film grain, and it kind of works. It adds a nice little feel to it. So this might be the first project with like actual film grain. Escape from Earth had it too, but it was like doubled to look like a broken sort of camcorder.
Yeah.
And I always like experimenting with new things with each project. Steel Jaws not only being working with real water, like actually in the water this time, not just,
risking
rain.
Disease.
Listen.
I'm gonna keep bringing it up.
If Steel Jaws kills me, this is the one project I'm proud to die for.
I feel like any project would make you do that.
It's true. And the thing is, I am petrified of water. I have severe thalassophobia. But I've noticed that when I'm holding the shark and the camera and I'm in the water, all that fear just goes. And it's really nice to know that TFI seems to be my, like, sometimes my cure for doing things I'm scared to do. Because if I know it'll make a good shot, I'll do it. And getting into this murky water that you can't even see your, like, if you're in that water and the water is like up to your chest, it's so murky and dark you can't even see your waist. And normally that would petrify me. But I'm in there with this shark, and I'm thinking, I don't want to get out because these shots are so good and I'm having so much fun. But the thought of going in Lake Ontario, or any sort of lake, just to swim, and I'll have a complete panic attack. But give me the camera, and the boat, and a shark? Hell yeah. And E. coli.
I apparently, okay. That's, I guess the risk of, so what I'm hearing is the risk of disease goes up, your fear goes down.
Listen.
I'm listening.
Whatever gives me a week off of work to just relax.
Yeah, you're sure gonna be relaxing with E. coli.
Of course.
That's sentence I just said.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get back in there soon because there's a couple of like pickup shots I want to do with the fin, because I did this thing where like I filmed the shark's fin moving to the left because he was like zip tied facing left, and to get shots of him moving to the right, I was just gonna mirror the footage, but I also just want to get shots of him zip tied to the right as well, just to increase that library of shots that I could use. And what's even neat is like with that rig, there's a shot I did where the shark fin is above the water, and then the shark fin goes under the water. But because the camera's tied to him, the camera goes underwater too, and you just see this fin underwater in this murky, diseased-ridden water, and it comes up above the surface again, and it looks so neat. I'm so excited for this project. I have not stopped talking about it, and when it's done, I will probably be so upset because I just Gigawatt and Jaws are the two projects. Oh, no, because that's my recency bias. I still feel that way about Jurassic Spark. Jurassic Spark and Gigawatt and Jaws are all these projects I wish never ended because they're just ridiculously fun. And that's when
gets in the water.
I'm in the water, and I will say, Steel Jaws I'm loving so much because I'm getting the same fun I had with Jurassic.
So all I have to say though, I am begging you, please get Matt to come help with one shot.
One shot?
Anything. You cannot make your one water film not have Matt in the water.
Okay, so there will be a scene where like the shark chases them through a river, like a stream, and it's going to be that same sort of stream that we were at the ravine that Matt was actually in, where he saved the Brachiosaurus. It's got to be that scene.
So yeah, you got to get him because he's got to be in the water.
I'm in the water. But yeah, that's how Steel Jaws is going, and I think that's really I have all to say now. To be fair,
so did we state on the last podcast that Gigawatt is fully wrapped?
I think so, because I know we stated its runtime, but if not, we can just say it again. Yeah, Gigawatt 4, other than some adjustments and some retakes, Gigawatt 4 is done. It's wrapped. There's nothing more to do film-wise, and it's an hour and 46 minutes.
So follow-up, do we have any idea when a potential watch party may happen?
So, Cooler Right was thinking to make it just a big occasion to make it more special for like him and I. Like he wants to be here when the watch party happens, and he's arriving on the 17th. However, he is opening up to the idea of just doing it beforehand, because we want people to see this, and we agreed that like we'll open up that discussion once he's done his retakes, because there's a few lines he's not too happy with, he wants to redo. And he said once he's done those, we can discuss like what our plan is, like when we'll do the watch party, how many that there's going to be. Because me personally, I want people to see this film. It's so special to us, and just makes me realize how far TFI has come, and it has so many of my favorite people that I've ever worked with are in this project. And to see them all in the credits with specific cameos too, is pretty cool. So
Good job, Sam.
yeah, I know.
I will say one quick thing I want to talk about. We are almost done with the issue 1 comic dub. Sam and I have been really hard at work at it. We got one of the last actors we needed to cast is done. We're just waiting on some lines, and it should be coming out very soon.
It's pretty much when all the lines are done. It's up to me.
My hope is by the time we record the next episode of the podcast, it's out. That's my hope.
I hope so too, and I will, try my absolute best to get it done as much as possible. I got some time off this weekend. I'm gonna go ham on it because MK did show me everything that's been done, and it's pretty much the whole thing. It's just a couple of lines here and there that weren't there, and other than certain pacing and sound effects and music that I have to add, it's really neat. It feels like a really professionally done
cast.
I love the cast to death.
Incredible cast with one. So most of the incredible cast, incredible mic quality. One thing I find funny is I love Gavin, Big Green. He's in the cast and he does a phenomenal job with his acting. But I feel real bad because there's the mic quality is just different all around, and we're not studio professional. It's fine, but it is funny to hear the various mic qualities of crystal clear. Like some of the actors, no background audio. It sounds like they record in a professional studio, and then on the other hand, it's like, oh yeah, you definitely record that in your house.
That's what I love about old TFI films, because it was definitely that as well. But I feel like there's a certain charm to that,
I agree, and I think the most important thing is, especially for on this scale, the most important thing is the performance, and I think every actor gave it their all, 110%. There's not a single performance in this that I thought was mediocre. I think everyone really pulled their weight. There are some stand-up performances that I would love to talk about when it's out, but I think everyone did a great job, and I'm really excited to see where we go from here.
It's definitely something I've been enjoying doing because it's different for me. In my own work, I always voice a transformer. This time I'm voicing a human, and it's a breath of fresh air, and it's nice. It's nice to finally play a human in something Transformers, and it's also nice to work on something different. Mm-hmm. It's this comic dub feels very, very fun and different, and just it feels fresh. It's a breath of fresh air, and that's why I'm really excited to get it finished. Doing sound effects for it is. I've come to realize doing sound effects for different creators has become one of my favorite things to do, because I love being involved in all these projects and films, but I've always believed that something looks good when it sounds good. And yes, I do sound effects. Yeah, I do sound effects for you, of course, myself, for Name Brand, and also Stephen JG, who we've worked with a few times on TFI, and he himself, and this is also our shout out, he himself just released his first sort of audio drama called Arrival to Earth, and he had me do a few sound effects for that too. And it felt good. It reminded me of when I was doing the sound effects for the the Rollout audio book that I did. So yeah, shout out to Stephen JG, finally released his audio drama.
Please go check out Arrival to Earth. It's good. I'm not even the hugest audio drama person. I've tried to get into them. They're kind of hard for me. I was thoroughly entertained. I felt like I understood what was happening. Especially your sound effects help a lot with that too. But yeah, no, it was a good time.
There's a choice he decided to do, and we discussed this in the earlier stages when he sent me the script. And Steven has written it in present tense, which is not something that I usually see quite often. Most stories are written in past tense. And it was interesting because it sounded like stage directions. Mm-hmm. But it works, and I like it. It's not every day that I usually. And I know past tense and present tense are how a lot of different stories are written. They use one or the other. So it's interesting to work on something that uses present tense. because it really feels like you're actually in the moment rather than being told there was a moment.
And a little fun thing, you and me are also both in it.
Yes, we are. We are.
Bumblebee and Wheeljack. I'm Sideswipe.
Mm-hmm.
And Starscream.
Of course, you're Sideswipe. Spray Steven.
I love you say, of course you're Sideswipe, and not the character I voice in so many fan films now.
Oh, well, I mean, that's a given. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all that we have to say, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Hey, MK.
Thanks, MK, for getting the ball rolling, and as a blah, 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 blah. What would say it? Say it. You can say the line.
Thanks for getting the ball rolling, MK. Blah, 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 blah.
God. Wait, we've messed up.
What?
We didn't point out the bingo card.
Anybody get bingo?
Is Sam like is us forgetting something? Does that count as a error? Does that count as something to
all right,
put on a bingo card?
All right, G7. Yes, it does. God damn it.
Anyway,
I hate it.
Continue.
Here. I hate it here. No, I don't want to continue.
Go on.
All right, MK, ball rolling. Thanks.
Welk, I guess.
Welk. All right. Okay, everybody. We'll see you all in August.
Are you okay?
I was gonna say that is the month that we celebrate 10 years of TFI. Can't wait to be off schedule. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you then.
All right.
Do it, MK. Do it. You know you want it.
Didn't I do it last episode?
I think you did. You should do it again.
Fare thee well.
You suck.
Sorry. Fare thee well.
Fare thee well.
Hip hip and tally ho, good podcast listeners.